Hi everyone, welcome to the Online Development Cohort Training Shell. As you can see, you are looking at what is called the dashboard. This is going to be, for this particular class, your point of entry for the class. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what it does. You'll see these modules here, and these modules will alert you and inform you of different things that are going on, such as you might have an unread message or you might have an announcement. These are things that we'll talk about more in the class, but I'd like to give you a little tour of your Online Development Cohort Training Shell. That's a long name, isn't it? This is something that you'll be doing for your class. We find that most instructors that provide an online welcome orientation for their students, they have a lot less questions and frustration as their students might come to them and be taking an online class for the very first time. They may be very, unfamiliar with the online technology. So I'm not going to have this on the whole time, but I did want to show you that it is nice to have a webcam view of yourself from time to time. Okay, so now my image is gone, and we can get back to touring and exploring the online learning environment. Notice up here you see edit mode is off. As an instructor in your own shell, you'll have an edit mode on and off toggle to either create an edit or to view as a student. I'm in my instructor view right now, and I have turned my edit mode to off so you can see what it's like to be a student in my online class. I want to show you that on the very left-hand side are some links to other areas that we'll be working in. Now, as an online student learning how to develop an online class, I'm going to have you try some things out. I'm going to be modeling lots of different activities that you may or may not want to use in your own online development. For example, I have something in the content area called a Start Here module. In this particular module, you're going to be clicking on a link to get into what Blackboard considers their learning module. Notice that you have a table of contents on the left-hand side, and you also have a screen that shows a particular page. In this case, it's my picture. You have a place where you can move through each of the screens, or perhaps a document. In this case, these are all the items that you will need to get started in your online cohort training. I also will have some activities for you to try. You can use the page navigation here to the left or here to the right, or you can jump to items in your table of contents. Now, the three activities that I'm going to have you try, first of all, will be a quiz, a threaded discussion to introduce yourself, and then I'm going to also ask you to do some things with uploading, or as we say, downloading and uploading with the storyboard template. It's very easy to try some of these activities, and again, I will be modeling some of the things that I would like to see you develop. Now, in between being a student in the online development training shell, you're also going to be creating. And I do want to say this, creating online content is one of the most creative activities that I've ever been involved in. So please don't hesitate to ask questions. We'll have plenty of tutorials, live and archived, on how to do things. But I do want you to be an online student as well, to have that experience. Most likely your students are going to be coming to you and they're going to be new to the online learning environment. If you don't try things out, chances are you're not going to know what it's like for your students. All of our students are coming to us with different learning styles and learning experiences. I always recommend having yourself in as a student by adding yourself as a test student when you first get your shell. That way, anything you create, you can actually check out and try out for the first time for yourself before you actually launch it or provide it to your students. So in your own shell, you're going to see Control Panel under Course Management, and under Course Tools, you're going to see Add Test Student. Now, I've already added my test student, so this would be saying, do you want to unenroll? You'll have a different button. Your button will say, do you want to enroll a test student? And you're going to say yes, and then you're going to select a password. It's perfectly fine to provide a password that's the same as your regular login. We'll talk more about that later, but those are just some of the things that I'd like you to do. So let me recap. When you come into the class, look around, click around under the menu items on the left-hand side. You'll also have some instructions to start here first. This is important that you, along with providing this information to your students, that you try a Start Here learning module. I hope you like the class. I'm really excited to get started with all of you. Let me know if you have any questions. I have some links to a YCCD email that you can send to me, and it will go to my YCCD email account. Or under the discussion board, not only am I going to have you introduce yourselves to each other, but I have a Q&A cafe where you can leave some questions for me to answer, and everyone can see those questions, because chances are if you have a question, the others do as well. I'm really excited again to get started, and thank you very much for this opportunity.